So at my core, I am a physical educator. So if you are able and willing to do 10 jumping jacks, I'd feel a lot more comfortable standing up here. Anybody? Thank you. They say you should do something each year that scares you. Almost a year ago today, I did just that. Something that got me out of my comfort zone was taking 21 students to the trail of Mount Bierstadt, a 14er, a Colorado peak higher than 14,000 feet. And well, that's nothing compared to what I am doing now, standing and speaking in front of all of you. I tell my students all of the time, get out of your comfort zone. It's where magic happens and learning begins. So here I am, completely out of my comfort zone. Where's our next hike gonna be? One of my students asked as he was descending Mount Bierstadt. This is really curing my depression, I overheard another student say. And while getting into the car post-hike, my smile has never been happier. In 2020, I was struggling with ways I could support my students while we were navigating a pandemic and ways we could use our voices to fight racial inequality. I then came across the book, The Adventure Gap by James Edward Mills. And I thought, this is it. I will create wilderness experiences for my students. The book argues that minority populations are less likely to engage in recreation, adventure, and solace in wilderness spaces due to their lack of opportunities and resources. After reading the book, I told my husband, I'm gonna have my AVID students hike a 14er. My AVID class is very culturally diverse. As you can see, I am the only white person. I would occasionally shock my students with my Midwest overnight oats culture. I spent my childhood going on hikes, but for many of my students, they had never been out of the city of Denver. I wanted to expose them to outdoor activities in ways where opportunities and resources were available. Kind of like our AVID mission, equip students for what they need for college and career success. I realized AVID is metaphorically like climbing a mountain, where each year we ask students to climb a little higher. I wanted them to understand that hard work and determination can help them achieve their goals. So instead of telling and talking to them about hiking a 14er, I felt it would be better to actually have them hike a 14er. I hoped my students would feel empowered by boosting their self-confidence and sense of competency to imagine lives full of different possibilities. Let me be honest, my class of 2023 was something special. Their freshman year, a student had quoted saying, "Our AVID family is loud, funny, and messy, but we love each other." They immediately got along, began to learn from each other, and were fully invested in protecting and supporting each other. Little did I or they know trust was being built. Nor did I know they would be an inspiration to me and others. I grew, they grew, we grew. Fast forward to the fall of 2021, we purchased the book for each of my AVID students. My principal supported my goal of having my students hike Mount Bierstadt, 14,065 feet. How would I incorporate different Wicker strategies? Each week, students would read a chapter, then complete a dialectical journal. We would review the chapter during our family meetings. From the journals, I could tell they were beginning to see themselves in the book. They were beginning to own this opportunity. What I discovered from our discussions was this: When we, as educators, work to break down the barriers that block students' success, whether those obstacles are physical, mental, environmental, or systematic, we open up innovative new pathways for them to achieve growth and success. I then told my students my goal was for us to hike Mount Bierstadt, a 14er. Some responses I received were, "What's a 14er? Really, Miss? Miss Stahl, what if we have to use the restroom? Oh, that sounds really cool." I realized we would need to do a lot more than just read the book to prepare for the hike. I started to educate them on what a 14er was, how to prepare, and what was needed. I reached out to people of color who have completed 14ers to come talk to my students so they could see others who looked like them doing what I was asking them to do. My students really knew nothing about hiking, but because they had developed a sense of trust and security with each other and myself, and we had a strong teacher-student relationship, they began to believe I would not steer them in the wrong direction. We had a famous TikToker, Nelson Holland, come in to talk about his experiences being Black and being outdoors. He made a TikTok for my class, and that's when others started to see what we were doing. Many people reached out to support us, and along with local business support, we were able to get all students in proper gear to hike comfortably and safely. I had to be sure my students understood it wasn't about making it to the top. It was the experience along the way. I used the phrase, "Mayo," make it your own. Possibilities were different for each student, so I needed to meet them where they were. Together, we trained by walking up and down the staircases at school and walked around the track with loaded backpacks. I organized weekend hikes. Want to get to know your students better? Meet them outside of the classroom. We practiced mindfulness activities, exercises to manage nerves and uncertainty. I was surprised how seriously the students took it to prepare themselves for last year's June 13th hike. I was once asked, how many students will it take to hike Mount Bierstadt to make you feel it was a success? My answer, 5. On the morning of the 13th, 21 students showed up at 4 a.m. 21. We began to eat bagels, waiting for the bus that never showed up. It's in these moments you know students are watching how you will respond. I remembered the phrase, "manage the situation," from my soccer playing days, and that's what I and the other adults did. We managed and organized each student to ride with an adult to the trailhead. Once we arrived, the sun was beginning to peek over the horizon. We got all our gear on, had a short talk, and off we went. Now, I had imagined we would hike the entire thing together, be at the top together, and get an epic class photo. That was not the case. I didn't anticipate the different hiking paces and physical abilities of my students. All 21 students made it above 13,000 feet. And that's when I knew a seed of uncomfortableness had been planted. Something magical had happened, and each of them learned a little bit more about themselves. Some got to the summit 2 hours before others, and because of the wind and temperatures, they needed to get down. We never got that epic photo, but the pridefulness the students felt at the top will never be taken away from them. Side note, all 21 have committed to a college. The hard work of mental, physical, and logistical preparation definitely paid off for my students. One student told me, "I learned a lot about myself during this process, and the biggest thing was that my mind was my biggest enemy. I constantly reminded myself that mind is greater than matter, and this kept me going." Another student said, "Climbing Mount Bierstadt felt unimaginable, but after completing it, the sky is the limit. I cannot wait to make a genuine difference and make an impact." The personal growth and insight students gained as a result of this experience is remarkable. A student said in their journal, "Although this may seem like common knowledge, I learned that hikes are all about the journey up and not about how fast you finish." Another student said, "I used to think I wasn't an outdoor person, but I've learned that the feeling I get from outdoor experiences is simply peace." We want to provide resources and opportunities so our students can pursue their personal passions and unlimited possibilities. For me, hiking Bierstadt, along with our weekend hikes, gave me the opportunity to support my students in their growth. One student has said, "I want to invite more people of color to hike with us. I want to be and find representation." The benefits of integrating hiking into my curriculum are still being revealed. Students are still learning about themselves and from each other. Since our hike, students have had the opportunity to meet one of the known Black people to hike all 58 14ers, a young Black lady who solo hiked the Appalachian Trail and participated in indoor rock climbing. Wherever my students go next, their ascent of Mount Bierstadt has not only served to push their physical limits, it has also helped them break through their mental, emotional, and physical barriers. As a student said, "Having the opportunity to climb Mount Bierstadt has made me realize that I have many opportunities out there. I have to be willing to put forth the effort to reach them." I planted seeds of possibility and watered them with opportunity, wisdom, love, and support. And now I am able to step back and watch them blossom. When any of our students begin to believe in themselves, we know inner barriers are breaking down. We must go out of our own comfort zones to provide opportunities for our students. For my AVID class, this was a powerful memory they will be able to draw upon to help them aim for confidence and success in life after high school. To the student who asked, "Where's our next hike gonna be?" I say, "You tell me and I'll be there." To the student who said, "This is curing my depression," I say, "Yes, my sunshine. Being outside can almost cure anything." And to the student who said, "My smile has never been happier," I say, "Mine either."